Welcome to the Din and Don Show. I'm Din.
And I'm Don. And we're here for some fun.
Alright, we got a fun one here today. At least it's going to be really fun for me. It's a fan favorite of mine. We're going to be talking about The Mandalorian.
Cue the intro! What a show we have. What a show. I had no idea really what to think of what The Mandalorian was. When I first heard about The Mandalorian from like some coworkers, I thought it was going to be about Boba Fett.
No, a lot of people actually thought it was going to be about Boba Fett. And I would probably say like a good, at least third of the community thought it was going to be about Boba Fett. Thinking like this is going to be how he escapes from the Sarlacc pit, stuff like that. But no, it wasn't. It was about an unknown character. We didn't know his name. We didn't know who it was going to be, if it was going to be man or woman. And then obviously it's a man. We know that now.
Well, it's called The Mandalorian.
Women are going to hate you.
Why do you like The Mandalorian?
Oh, why do I like The Mandalorian? I mean, well, first of all, one of the biggest things that I love about The Mandalorian is the fact that it ties the end of Return of the Jedi to The Force Awakens a little bit. Like, it literally shows the Empire hanging on a thread at this point, trying to adapt to what just happened. And eventually, like, we'll probably see it more as the series comes out, but, like, them transforming into the First Order.
Right.
And I love that fact because really you don't really know very much about what happened between Return of the Jedi and The Force Awakens, except for those of you that are gamers out there. There's Star Wars Battlefront 2, which filled in a lot of the holes when The Force Awakens came out, but this actually gives a lot more people who are not gamers more info about it.
Right. And see, and that's me. I mean, I play games a little bit. I'm not like your boy over here, Doom, whatever.
Doom 3657.
Shameless promotion. And so, but I mean, I love The Mandalorian, and I love how I was telling Din this earlier. I'm a sucker for the Star Wars side story. I mean, like I liked Solo. I don't know how many people liked the movie Solo, but I liked Solo.
I mean, to be honest, the Solo, I didn't like it at first, but then as I really saw it towards the end of the movie, I absolutely loved it.
Yeah, and so I like Solo because it gives the backstory to Han Solo, and I don't know, who doesn't love Han Solo? I like, a few of you might know this, I really like the Ewok adventure movies that came out.
I honestly have never seen those.
They're so... I think they're good. They're a little cheesy because it's all about the Ewoks, but It's so good to me. I love them. I like, and I mean, I even like, I like, what's it called? Rogue One. I mean, yeah, that ties into the Empire, or the battle against the Empire with the rebels fighting against the Empire. But I love it because it ties it in. It shows just the regular life of the everyday rebel.
Right.
And even gives a little bit of character building and a little bit of soft world building to how the Death Star was being made and the plans for the Death Star. And I mean, you see it in Episode 2 when Count Dooku takes the schematics for the Death Star.
Which I just saw that. Like, I've been rewatching it. My wife just gave me the entire Skywalker collection saga. Saga collection, excuse me. And it never hit me until literally I rewatched this last time. I was like, that's the freaking Death Star right there.
See, and I had noticed that before.
I didn't.
So, but that's just, I don't know.
I was so young when I first watched it, so.
Well, I just finally noticed it one day. It was just like, wait, that's the Death Star. So, I really liked the side stories. And The Mandalorian, I love it because we also just talked about this too, is that it gives life to the Mandalore. To the people of Mandalore, which is something I'd never known about. I learned more about watching the show.
A lot of people who haven't seen the Clone Wars or Rogue One don't know a lot of the Mandalorian culture. And
it wasn't in Rogue One.
Did I say Rogue One?
Did you mean Rebels?
Yeah, I meant Rebels. Did I say Rogue One?
You said Rogue One.
I totally
meant
Rebels.
What is wrong with you?
I totally meant Rebels. So Rebels and the Clone Wars and the 3D animated series. They talk a lot of. They go to a lot of Mandalore. Fun fact: Obi-Wan was actually in love with the leader of Mandalore at the time.
With Bo-Katan?
No, her sister.
Oh, wow! So that whole thing of Jedi not having attachments, then it's just gone now.
Well, I think that's actually probably one of the biggest reasons why Obi-Wan overlooked Anakin's.
Because he had his own little love. Well, it makes sense. Actually, I've looked up some different stuff on that. So
anyway,
we'll talk about
that's a whole other thing.
That's a different story. So, but the Mandalorian, it's just cool because you get this side story of a bounty hunter of a Mandalorian, which this whole time you just kind of associated the Mandalorian with Jango Fett and Boba Fett,
right?
Which were both like assassins, strong bounty hunters. They were very cunning. And then you just have this, and from watching like some other things that I heard about a little bit of the Mandalorian, like then you have this random baby Yoda. His name's Grogu. And it's just interesting just to see the difference because, you know, as the Mandalorian do, and any bounty hunter, you go, get your bounty, do the job, get your money, get paid, no questions asked.
Right.
And for once, maybe, I don't know the whole story, but for once it seems like the Mandalorian is having a conscience struggle.
Right.
And so it's just super cool to see that. And then just the dynamic of it all. I mean, one thing I really liked about the Mandalorian was the fact of seeing a different side of the Sand People on Tatooine.
Yeah, no, because like if you watch the movies just look like they're just complete savages, especially in Attack of the Clones episode 2, and even in the animated series where you interact very seldom with those Sand People, it's still like they're savages. But this is one of the few places where they actually show you that they have at least somewhat of a thought process. They actually have communication. They work together.
They have a culture.
And another place that the only other place that at least I know of that you would have seen that is actually in another video game called Star Wars: Knights of the Old Republic. Because you have to actually go and talk to the chief to get a specific item so that you can actually move and progress in the game. But this has a whole nother aspect of it where the Sand People, they have a culture and how they speak with their hands and the grunts and the growls and everything like that. How they have sort of ritualistic food, or that has like meaning behind it. For example, if you don't drink it, it's offensive to them. For example,
I thought that was actually because they didn't have water. That was the only thing they could drink.
I don't know. I actually don't know about that because in the game that they actually do have water, but in this one I don't know. Maybe it's just I don't know. If you do know, comment down below.
Yeah, let us know. The other thing about the Mandalorians the Mandalorian people I like is their love of Beskar and even their armor or even their culture. Mm-hmm. I mean, and it's interesting because you see the Mandalorian and typically they always wear their helmet, or at least with this Mandalorian. He is told that he is never allowed to take his helmet off. And once he does, he can never put his helmet back on. But you've seen Jango Fett without a helmet.
Yeah, you see Jango Fett. You see in the Clone Wars, you saw a lot of the Mandalorians would take off their helmets, even in Rebels, and even Bo-Katan. Yeah. And how she would take off her helmet all the time. And like you saw them take off their helmets all the time in those series. But then you have him who is like, you can't take off your helmet. And that's where Death Watch comes in, and that's where they tie Death Watch in to a lot of other clans and stuff like that. And it comes to show that each clan has their own set of rules, some types of religious aspects of it.
Almost like a religious zealot where they decide to follow it like almost to the letter of their religious law,
right?
Which is their cultural law at this point. But yeah, it's interesting to see that there's different dynamics within the Mandalorian. Mm-hmm. I thought it was kind of cool too. Spoilers, which this whole thing's a big spoilers thing. I thought it was also interesting. Well, I got two interesting things. First one is Boba Fett. Boba Fett's back, baby. Boba Fett is back.
You know what I loved about Boba Fett?
What?
Because you know how you have Mando, how he's like a Western gunner and everything like that, sharpshooter. But then you have Boba Fett, and how he is more of a brute.
Yeah, well, he's a brute, but he's also a calculating assassin.
He is, and fun fact is the person who plays Boba Fett is actually from, I want to say,
he's from New Zealand.
New Zealand, and so he tied his own culture into the show. Because that specific staff that he holds is actually a very specific weapon.
Oh, really?
In New Zealand.
Fun fact.
And so, like, I love how they brought that into the show. But anyways, that's a whole fun fact.
Yeah, that's cool. And then the other thing, too, is just, and I know a little bit about this, how, you know, from you watch the show, that there was a Mandalorian Jedi Civil War.
Right.
And the fact that you have a Mandalorian having to help
a Jedi,
or
like a Jedi or a Padawan to be,
a youngling basically. We find out later on, which we all thought at first is like, maybe this Yoda race is just strong with the Force. We don't know, but it was so cool just to see the fact that he and even the clan of Death Watch, which that was new to me. I found out today that they even say that you need to return this child back to his own people, back to the Jedi. So it's just so interesting and so amazing. The big thing with The Mandalorian I really liked, and if you want us to get more into depth about it, like our specifics, just let us know in the comments. But for me, the big thing about The Mandalorian is that it made me want to get into watching other Star Wars shows. Like to watch the Clone Wars.
Gateway drug.
Yeah, it is. You know, I'm smoking it right now, whatever. Smoking that Clone Wars high, baby. But no, I had never seen the Clone Wars show. I hadn't even seen the old one, the one that Cartoon Network used to. Well, they both Cartoon Network ramble. The old animated one. I know you hate it. I love it. What you tell us what you think. I love it. I think General Grievous
is so unrealistic.
General Grievous is cooler in it though. He's better than he's not a pansy like in the first season.
You need to watch the Clone Wars.
I am watching the Clone Wars, and so far he's just been a pansy. He's a big brute, dude. We'll get to that argument another day. But I love it because it's made me want to get into the Clone Wars, to try and give it a real shot this time, because I didn't like it. To find out the backstory of Ahsoka. I know you're judging me right now.
No, I'm actually I'm enthralled because you're wanting to watch all this. Okay. I'm a huge Star Wars geek, so
yeah. Well, and then get to know like Ahsoka Tano, her backstory since she's in The Mandalorian, to see more of like the Mandalorian, see more of the Mandalore, see the Mandalorians in the show, and it's just made me want to get into like the whole side stories, backstories, the world of Star Wars. So that's why I really like The Mandalorian. Closing point, I win.
You win. No, I mean, like, The Mandalorian is absolutely fantastic show. I would highly recommend it if you haven't seen it yet. I mean, I'm not sure if there is anyone out there that hasn't seen it.
If you're watching this now, you've probably already seen it. So,
if you haven't seen it, definitely go see it. It's if you don't have Disney Plus, siphon it off of somebody else. There's always somebody to watch it, or watch it with a friend. But no, it's a fantastic show. I love it. I love how they tie in all the aspects, like you were saying, of Star Wars, of Ahsoka, of Clone Wars, the movies, like I was saying, how they're tying it together. I loved all of it, and like the fact that the fact that they threw the Darksaber in there.
Oh yeah, we didn't even talk about that.
The fact that they threw the Darksaber in there, like in the very first season, it was like they threw it in there at like the last minute. But I loved it. Like I loved that they showed the Darksaber, because it's like, wait, how did Moff Gideon get the Darksaber? And we still don't 100% know.
And we might find out someday. Of course, my assumption is though the next season of The Mandalorian, I don't think we're gonna go back to this Mandalorian. I think the next season of The Mandalorian is going to be
focus on Boba Fett.
Because it says the Book of Boba Fett.
Yeah, no, they did say like the Book of Boba Fett, but I've heard I've heard two things about that. That the next season is going to be Book of Boba Fett, and then the one after that is going to be going right back to Mando.
Well, that's what I'm thinking too. That's what I would assume too. Is that it's going to do this? It's going to do the same thing you said.
Yeah.
So, Well, we'll find out. I mean, I like it. Do you like it? I don't know. I like it.
Hey, if you like it, give this video a like.
Yeah, if you like The Mandalorian, like this video and help the rebellion. No, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. We really appreciate you viewers out there. If you have any suggestions, any comments that you'd like to share with us, comment down below. If you like this video, please like it. Subscribe if you'd like to. And until next time, I'm Don.
And I'm Din.
And we are here for the win.